I was just saying, these are the other decks. I just was trying to show you one of them. I got disconnected, but it's okay. So the Revelations Tarot, very popular. The tarot made for ups, for reversals, full reversals, expletive meanings, the full uprights and full reversals. The Revelations Tarot, beautiful cardstock, extremely glossy, beautiful pictures for not only, of course, above, but the reversal. See? Divine. See? Wow. There we go. See? It's completely individual pictures, and that's why I bought this deck, and I do love it. I do only my personals for myself with this deck. Then, of course, we have the standard right away. I think we've all seen these, all the standards. So I'm not going to give too much mention to that one. Now, this deck I've just burnt through, and this is the new one to replace it. The Masters Tarot deck, Astrology Answers. I love this deck. This has been my go-to deck for the past, well, since starting my channel. It was the deck that I ended up choosing to be my deck. I love it. It's textured. It has a ripple kind of feeling, but it's completely glossy. You should see the ones I'm about to retire of these cards. It's sad. They are blown out, something fierce. To anyone that wants a writer's weight type deck, that wants different sort of more relatable imagery and more just beauty in general, I strongly recommend this deck, okay? It can only come from America, and I think I paid like $20. I'm in Australia, so $20 American, as well as postage with conversion. I think it cost me about $35–40 Australian. It did take a little while to get here. Of course, it was shipped over from America, but it was from a reputable source, the Astrology Answers website. So if you are interested, go hit that. Now I'm going to go to the Rider-Waite spirits now, because I have both the big standard and the miniature, because I wanted to have the miniature for clarifying purposes, because I love this deck. The moment I saw this Lescarbot deck, hang on, beautiful pictures, the imaging, the colours, the gloss of the back, the rose print. Even though I didn't know it was rose print, I still find that hard to believe that that's what it is. But oh, I love these cards. I haven't used these yet because I love them so much. I do not want to. Oh, I just love them, and they're full thick cardstock. They're not going anywhere, they're solid. Now the miniature isn't of the same sort of stock. There comes this voice little book. Now the print is the same back cards, but it's not overly glossed. It's more of a matte, but the colours is there, and it's got it doesn't have that high plastic gloss kind of. It's matte, but they are thick cards for miniature, extremely thick cards. I love this deck. Both the full size and the miniature. Definitely go to a reputable place to get this though. The next deck is the first deck I used on my channel. It's one of my first ever decks I ever bought, and it's the Fairy Tarot. And I bought it because it was very cheap at the time, and honestly it's one of my best investments of tarot decks, because it is a full big size. This was the this ain't no cheapo version. This was the original back then. I think the year I got this, let me just look at the 2015, the publishing. So yeah, and as you can see, I've kept it in pristine condition. So I have the seasons here. I've put them all in order pretty much by the looks of it, I think. I do love this deck. I love the pictures. I love the fact that the cards have a brief explanation, so you can lead on with that and then go to like further information from there. And it's a bit of a play as well on it with like the dreamer and etc. But I love that, and they handle so well. That was so thick, pliable, glossy, very pleasing on the eye, very catching. Doreen Virtue, I must say, nothing compared to a giant, brilliant, masterful creator as you, but I have always been in awe of your work. You are truly amazing. I think any tarot reader would agree, hands down. So Doreen Virtue, you see her name. Apologies, let me actually get her name. Yes, just one of the best, honestly, hands down. You know what I mean? What can I say more? Next, we go to the Crystal Oracle. This is a beautiful deck. I would love to use this more, actually. It's got full meaning, so it's got beautiful enchanted incense smell to this deck. But the cards are beautiful. backings, full gloss, full slip. Decent stock for the size, like they're not overly thick, but they are thick still. Not the thickest cards I've ever seen, not the weakest cards. They're sort of mid-stock, I guess you could say, but good for Oracle cards. Extreme high gloss and slip, like they're not hard to shuffle regardless of their size, because they are very big cards. Like I deal with like big cards, but no, this is crazy big. Like you really do have to elevate shuffle. It's like it does get a little tricky, but they are beautiful cards nevertheless. Okay, next is the spirit animal messages, and I love this. As tell the deck, like the box, the deck and the book is the same. It's got a beautiful texture, a bubble texture to it. If I can, just give me a sec. For a bigger card set as well, you can tell to hand, they are extremely good to shuffle even with their ripple. And you really do. They are extremely pleasing on the eye. Beautiful messages there. Isn't that beautiful? And the book is extremely explanatory. I'd love this book for an oracle book. It has so much information and it's in depth, and at the end it has like affirmational sort of acknowledgement. Like, yeah, it really is brilliant. I do love this deck. So Stephen Farmer, well done. Seriously, really good job on that deck. I want to buy a second copy because I love it so much, and I worry about things coming out of print when I find a really good deck, oracle deck. Like the ones I regularly use, which are up here, is the Angel deck, the Wiccan deck. That has I love this deck actually. Hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself, getting excited obviously. But yeah, the Wiccan deck. So that's the title for you. Nature of Wicca oracle cards. It has like Pluto, the planets, and seasons, as well as you know, like I said, elements, you know, south and north, the compass directions. My lord, I'm words. The north, the fifth element. As a 25 cards, it will say 26 on it, but it's not. It's actually a 25 card deck. I thought I lost a card in my original one because it was the box was saying 26 and I had 25. I bought a second one and I just realised that's the same. I wasn't missing a card. It was the additional card they add to the deck, which I showed you first, which is this card, counts as a 26. So don't be confused by that when you buy it, which I wasn't initially when I bought it, until I, you know, as you use cards, you count them periodically to make sure you do have full decks, you know what I mean? I do that quite regularly because I do have a lot of children that do like to play with my cards sometimes. So I must always make sure before readings I have full decks. So I always double check that after every set of readings. The Long Island Time Wellness, like they're so well renowned, Minology, so well renowned. My Crazy Sexy Love Notes, I use them a lot. This is what I wanted to show you though. See this crappy shitty deck? This is a China version of Light Seers. Very plasticky, high slip, if I can. But they're very small. Very small. They shuffle well. They're like highly plasticky. Nothing at all like the original. But I do like them only because they're a small version of the original for clarifying. And I have kept these out, sort of more for my children to play with, because they're extremely high rubber. Like they're made like they're freaking made of rubber. I don't know. I'm not impressed with that shit. Don't go to Wish or eBay to buy your cards. I would really go to reputable places to buy your cards, because yeah, you may not get exactly what you're looking for. The Practical Witch spell deck, I've got quite a lot. It's got like the little pocket book, which is extremely small, but it doesn't need a book at all because it's got nice gold bounding. Because on each card is everything. So this one, for instance, is the Song of the Siren spells. So we've got different spells, all from different groupings, like health spells or house spells or oppression spells or friend, like all different. stuff. It's excellent. It's 100 spells for love, happiness, and success. So it covers all different sorts of stuff. Now this is the Tinned Mini Radiant White. I love this deck. I've got it in mini. So I do love a good red ski reading on the go. Nothing like a running red ski reading. Red skis running readings. When you're on the go-go. These cards, like, they're beautiful. And even though they may not, these ones to me look a lot like the original. And these are bigger, I must note, to the Radiant Wise Tarot. Okay, these cards are bigger minis than them ones. There's quite a big difference actually. What I might do, if you give me a sec, size comparison. So this is the Radiant Wise Spirit and the Radiant. And as you can tell, there is a big size difference there for miniatures. So these are very miniature, and I love that. And well, even when you put boxes, so there is a bit of a difference there. You know what I'm saying? There you go. See what I mean? But I do love these cards. Miniatures are awesome. Alright, I'll end this video. Oh, and also the love. Everyone has them. There's still many more to go. Honestly, there really is. I have so many decks. It is crazy. As well as the titanium fortune cards, them ones. As well as I have the gold edition. Oh, these two I forgot to mention. The astrological oracle, beautiful artwork. This second to none. The book is like, well, it's astrological, you don't need a book really. It's got a beautiful silver bind. There we go. So one side, planets, star signs. I used to use them as the star sign like stand thing. This is the original one. This came with beautiful cards that were made very cardboardy and thick. Now the new one, now keep in mind this is just an exact reprint of the original, so it's not a different deck, it's an exact reprint. Hey, and this is the reprinted version, so sorry, it's a brand new deck, but my son actually got to look one of my twins and damaged this out of box and squished a card. But they're not wooden at all, they're completely plasticky, easily obviously crumbled, where the other cards wouldn't. I'm extremely flimsy. I don't like what these are made of. I don't like them. I like the original cards, that's why I haven't used these, but my old cards are getting, God, my son did a number on these, and the colours are a lot more, not right. It's just not right, even though this is an original deck, like St. Mary Second Son. So the colours in the original of this was a lot more mute, like darker, richer. I don't know. The colours are just not right in the newer deck. I do not like it. I do not like it at all, considering it's an exact reprint. Sorry. See? And this has like feel to it, like you don't understand that. It's a cardboardy texture. You can feel it. It feels fortunistic. Then let's go back. And now the new deck. See what I mean? Look at its colours. You know what I mean? Look at that. No, I'm sorry, Titanias, because I love your cards, and I bought this second deck purely out of indulgence, because I had to have the newer version. I'm disappointed. Like this is like cheap. No, it's not. Look how bent they get. My 2-year-old grabbing it slightly. And look, oily stains. So they're not going to wear well. Yeah, it really is a no from me on the new one. Honestly, I'm borderline disappointed, and I hate to say that. I don't like to bag a deck, but look at that coffin card. Good Lord. Yeah, nah. I don't like this deck. The original, they missed the mark on these cards for me. And the books are exactly identical. There is no difference there. It's just an exact reprint, but you know, we have changes that I don't like. Keep it original if you're going to do the original reprint. The other deck that I had here, which is not actually a deck, they're karma cards. So hang on. So these are karma cards. So, you know, signs, planets, placements. So depending on the way it is, like depending on the question, it goes into either the blue or the red, and it's separated into different portions of the sun, moon and rising. And come with full book. So karma cards. These are the original ones. I love things, anything astrology based, so yes, I'd love to bring more of that into the reading. So I still have more decks, so there may be a third video at some point. I think I have an obsession. Well, I've been doing tarot for over 20 years, so, you know, collect some shit in that time. And I did take a 10-year vista away and didn't collect or do anything with the tarot. Now, since May last year, I'm back full ready Redskis files to just bring that shit on in. Thank you so much for joining me on Redskis Righteous Readings, where the readings are always righteous when we're doing readings, but when we're doing Redskis collection of awesome tarot and oracle decks, it's even more righteous and even more ridiculous. Cheers, y'all. Take it easy. Bye.